Want a white cranberry? Want a white cranberry?
Gaming. Gaming! Dusted off a little classic meme for you there. Is meant to be an entertaining hobby. But for one man in China, it wasn't entertaining at all. In fact, it was a source of misery and dread. And the game in question is not League of Legends, like many of you probably immediately assumed. It's a game called Three Kingdoms Kill Online. And this one man had been at the top of the leaderboards, wreaking havoc for 15 years in the Crucible. And now he is finally suing the game developer for the trauma he has experienced. What trauma? You're asking yourself, scratching your head. Well, you see, in Three Kingdoms Kill Online, there is an evil little mechanic at play where you can disrespect your opponents by throwing eggs and sandals at them. And you see, this gamer, for 15 years, suffered at the hands of these heathens throwing eggs and sandals, taking a huge toll on his life, ruining his self-esteem, and calculates that he has been slapped by virtual eggs and sandals over 4,800 times in just the last year alone. Now, I'm sure all of us have been through traumatic experiences, but we can all agree nothing even comes close to what this poor soul has gone through. I can't even imagine 15 years of virtual egg and sandal slaps. My God, I can only wish him the best on his legal pursuit. I talked about it on stream a little bit, and this is a lawsuit that I've been really trying my best to stay as in tune on as possible. It is a Chinese lawsuit, so the information I get comes from China and gets translated, and it's not the most active updates in the case, but I am so captivated by this idea that this guy is suffering because people troll him at the end of the games by spamming egg and sandal emotes. That is unbelievable to me, and I'm so curious to see how it shakes out, because apparently he's got a real case with this. So let me give you a little bit more of the basics. I covered them on stream, and then I'll come in with a little bit more I've learned. I read a story, I think it was 2 days ago. A man in China is suing a game developer, I can't remember who, I think it's Kingdom Clash, because he said that over the course of his thousands of hours playing Kingdom Clash, he has had his life ruined by players he beats in the game throwing bananas at him. And he said that every time he gets hit with a banana, it lowers his self-esteem to the point that his life is not the same. It is amazing. Let me pull this up for you. Man sues gaming company after being virtually slapped 4,800 times in multiplayer game. Self-esteem hammered. I can already just imagine him tossing and turning. I won my game. But ex-Shadow Slayer 5 won the war. He threw a banana at me. Fuck. What did I do? Wow. I closed my eyes for a second and I have 2 different auto-playing ads. A Chinese gamer has taken legal action against the gaming company, alleging emotional distress caused by repeated virtual attacks from other players. The man using the pseudonym Kyobin has been an avid player of Three Kingdoms Kill online for the past 15 years and currently holds the game's highest rank. The game, developed by a company based in Hangzhou, was launched in 2009 and is set during China's historic Three Kingdoms period. It allows 4 to 8 players to battle it out in matches that last between 10 to 30 minutes. Kyobin said that after each match he won, opponents would throw virtual items like eggs and straw sandals at his character. These items would trigger animations that resembled facial slaps, which he described as emotionally damaging and humiliating. He calculated he had been hit more than 4,800 times in the past 6 months alone. And the other article I read, it was bananas. Was it a different translation? Is it eggs or bananas? Because that makes a huge difference. Bananas got a lot more girth to it. It's going to hurt a lot more and feel worse on the receiving end of the virtual slapping. He believes the repeated attacks were a way for other players to vent frustration after losing, with one incident lasting over 90 seconds. Every time I am hit with eggs, I feel my self-esteem is harmed and I get depressed, he said, adding that the public nature of these virtual slaps made him feel insulted in front of other players. Honestly, if it was me, I'd lean into that. I don't know if there's game chat, but if I saw him in my lobby, he's the top-ranked player, and I'd know it, I'd absolutely just lay into it like, you should feel shame. You're getting slapped with eggs. Yeah, I don't want to play with you again. You're getting slapped with eggs. I don't respect you. I can't imagine, rather. I guess I don't know for sure. I cannot imagine a judge seeing this and being like, wow, this guy deserves compensation. 4,800 eggs and sandals? Where have we gone so wrong in society? The offensive items can either be acquired for free through gameplay or purchased at a low cost, something Kyobin claims the gaming company benefits from. He accused the developers of tolerating and allowing such behavior, saying they profit from it while doing little to address the issue. Brother, the items are there for the sake of like a little bit of in-game trolling. Despite reaching out to customer service multiple times, Kyobin said his concerns were ignored, which prompted him to file a lawsuit seeking compensation. The exact amount he is demanding has not been disclosed. He should ask for 100 mil. Absolutely ask for 100 mil. Shoot for the stars. The incident has drawn mixed reactions online, with some users expressing sympathy. Who in the fuck would possibly express sympathy at some guy whining and suing because he's getting slapped with eggs and sandals in a virtual mobile game? You've got to be such a weirdo loser to be like, my heart breaks for you, Kyobin. This is bad. This is bad. No matter how strong a player is, they can still be crushed by eggs and straw sandals, one player wrote. Others shared similar stories of in-game bullying, with one user saying, I was hunted by other players for a month in another game. Every time I logged on, I was attacked and killed. which caused me significant trauma. I can't play my mobile games without the fear of eggs looming. March 31st, spokesperson from the company acknowledged the issue and said the items were originally part of the game's design, but added that restrictions would be introduced. No, don't be a bitch. They also confirmed that the company will cooperate with the court as the case moves forward. Come on. A lawyer pointed out that the use of eggs and straw sandals is inherently insulting and said that it's the company's responsibility to ensure respectful gaming environment. Well, could I reasonably sue for emotional distress when I lose to Kyobin? It feels bad when I lose. It's causing me significant trauma. Your right is to not be hit with eggs and straw sandals in our game. So that's what it looks like when you get slapped with sandals. Brutal. Absolutely brutal. I can see why it'd take such a toll on him. It's such an interesting case, and it somewhat reminds me of that infamous Twitch lawsuit from a couple years ago, where a gooner tried suing Twitch for like 20 mil because he couldn't stop getting hard and masturbating to female streamers on the platform and accused them of purposefully putting female streamers feeding female streamers to him for the sake of getting him addicted to porn. It was a very interesting lawsuit. And while this doesn't share anything in common with like gooning or whatever, like the gooner suit, it just reminds me of just unhinged claims that they actually push forward and try and put real water in. Like that Twitch lawsuit I just mentioned, that was a real thing that he tried. It wasn't like just a complete throwaway toilet paper suit. Like, it was something he actively pursued. And this is another one of those where it is a real case that is going to actually be examined. The whole crux of it is he believes that the game company has a responsibility to protect players from this kind of disrespect and this kind of insults. It should not be providing players with the ability to slap him with eggs and sandals because it's really hurting his self-esteem and it's making him feel bad. It's making him depressed, as he said. And it seems like he's not the only one that feels that way. There is a sentiment that is expressed here where a lot of people seem to agree, actually. So there is a chance that he actually wins this lawsuit because too many people have slapped him with eggs and sandals in that game, which I just find so interesting. And I'm curious, could this open a can of worms should he win this, where I could start making cases like in something like Fortnite, where they inherently have things built in for the sake of some trolling, like the L dance, or if someone kills me and then cranks a fucking default dance on my corpse, can I come after Epic Games for some trauma that I may have experienced through being embarrassed with these emotes that they have given players access to insult me? You know what I mean? Like, it feels like you could easily make this argument for pretty much any game ever. So I'm very, very interested to see how it all plays out. And I just thought it was so fucking silly about getting slapped with eggs and sandals for 15 years. Just being like a magnet for eggs and then getting really upset. And finally, you're just like, enough is enough. I'm taking it to court. I just think it's so good. So I wanted to talk about it a bit. That's it. See ya. Mwah, mwah. That's what people sound like when they do their best to defend Nintendo from my mean words. They deserve it. Nintendo is greedy, and I'm tired of it. So I keep making fun of them. And there's so many people that defend Nintendo, even in spite of them reaching into their piggy bank and shaking it for everything that could fall out. Heavens to Betsy, Nintendo even has the gall to charge money for their tech demo welcome tour for the Nintendo Switch. This is a game with the Switch 2 that's supposed to teach you how to use the console. It is a tour of it, and they didn't even have the common courtesy to let it be free like other games of that kind, like Astrobot back on the PS4. It doesn't get more pathetic than that. How do you even defend that? How do you even begin to rationalize why they would charge money for their tutorial of the Switch 2? It's craziness. That is an actual Mr. Krabs maneuver. Like that episode where he was charging customers for air inside of the restaurant. Like, Nintendo is so beyond greedy, and I believe it is just truly indefensible no matter how hard people jump through mental gymnastics to, you know, wave it away is not a big deal, and like they're totally right for increasing the price of their games and all this and that. I don't know. I don't understand the desperation to suck the Nintendo wiener this hard and defend them like this, fight their PR battles for free. It is very valid criticism to make fun of them for their pricing, because it's just ludicrous. And keep in mind, Nintendo never drops the price of their games, ever. Games that are like 10 years old are still being sold for full fucking price by Nintendo. So these games that are coming out that are going to be $80 occasionally for the Switch 2, they are going to remain $80 till the day you die. Occasionally they do like a deal where they drop the price temporarily on some of their titles, but that comes once in a blue moon. You are more likely to see Halley's Comet again than you are to see a Nintendo price drop on one of their properties for any meaningful length of time. And they charge out the wazoo for every single fucking thing that they can possibly even imagine. Like game chat in their games is a paid service, which means since it's a paid service, your C buttons are going to be locked behind a paywall. If you don't pay for it, those buttons on your controller aren't even going to work. It's ridiculous. Their game chat is also just reskin Discord, but with technology that's ancient compared to modern Discord. So I'm just going to show you clips from today's Yap session on Nintendo where we're going over Doug Bowser's most recent interview, and they showed more from game chat. It looks so laggy and so old, it is insulting they would even consider charging for it. And in this interview, Doug Bowser gives no good reasons why they increased the price of the games. The reason he gives, I think, is trash. Did you watch the Bowser interview over their $80 games? I didn't watch the interview, I just saw the statement. I'll watch the interview real quick. I'm assuming it's not a long interview. It's 17 minutes. Boy, this man actually like opened up his whole heart here. I thought it was just going to be another classic Doug Bowser where they bring him out of cryosleep for like a 3-minute appearance and then he goes right back into battery saving mode. Like, this guy is only ever seen like maybe 2 or 3 times a year. That's it. Outside of that, he ceases to exist. He just goes to the back rooms.
I guess the question now is, with the Switch 2, how do you avoid that trap again? What makes the Switch 2 a worthwhile upgrade so you don't kind of fall into that Wii U moment again?
Yeah, I think...
Oh, he just said the forbidden word. He mentioned Wii U. CNBC bringing up Wii U directly to Nintendo? Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Doug Bowser's even surprised. Like, what'd you say? Nah, these are clearly pre-screened questions, but I'm surprised they're willing to even mention what kind of failure Wii U was. I was one of the victims of that. I got scammed by it.
Is happening behind us right now. It really,
I did buy a Wii U. Yeah.
Creating that next generation, but then added very powerful.
What did you see in it? In the Wii U?
Features. So it's that understanding.
Okay, jeez, I can't believe I always have to defend myself about the Wii U. The reason I bought it is because I missed out on the Wii. I never owned a Wii. I only ever played it at friends' houses, and I felt so weird about that. So when the Wii U rolled around, I was like, not this time. I'm going to get it. So I got it. Turns out I was weird now because I was the only one with a Wii U. But without the Wii U, I would have never created Big Moist, because the name Big Moist came from the Wii U. I bought it. I then brought it to my dorm, and we used it as a communal Wii U for Mario Kart. And I made the name Big Moist on it. So, while the console was a scam, 100% that shit was ass, got some good memories from it.
And then there's the CPU and GPU processing power that allows for much deeper game development, and I think an ability to bring even more developers onto the platform. And then laid on top of that is the social features that we haven't talked about.
Don't you dare.
Game chat.
Don't you dare.
That lays on top of any game that you play. With the push of one button, seamlessly you can connect with your friends, you can chat with them via audio.
Doug, you've made Discord. Doug, don't you dare try and use that as some kind of justification for crazy price increases. Well, you see, we invented this thing called chat. Now listen, bear with me. I know it sounds like a ludicrous idea, but what if when you played games, you could talk to your friends while doing it? Hey, people criticized Isaac Newton with gravity. Trust me here. Just stick with me. Stick with me. It's ridiculous. Like, I'm glad it's finally coming. Like, it's cool, I guess, but the way they hype this up is ridiculous to me. You have literally just copied Discord's homework 5 or 6 years ago. Oh yeah, and you have to pay for it. That's right, and you have to pay for it. Forgot about that. It's not even like a free thing.
Audio, or with 4 of them, you can have them on a video camera and have this opportunity to interact and talk about the games you're playing.
Now we're sitting here.
I also love in their own demonstration how choppy this looks. You are just better off using Discord with your friends. It's free. It's better quality. You are just better off if you're playing Switch with your boys. Hop on Discord. You are so much better off.
Now we're sitting here on April 2nd. It just so happens as we're
Not even Discord, actual 2010 Connect technology. I won't go that far, but it is dated.
We didn't consider tariffs into that equation. We felt that that was going to be the right price point for our consumers and the right value proposition, if you will, for the device that we're creating. A lot of news today. We're still all trying to really understand it better and understand what possible impacts, may rise from that. But nothing I can really add to, today's discussion around pricing.
I will say, while the initial price point pre-tariff analysis here is higher than most people expected, myself included, I could almost understand that. Like, I could almost be like, you know what? It is an upgrade. It is finally modern. Okay, that I can stomach. I'm very curious, and I already know from the headlines where he goes with this, how they could possibly justify not only the increased price of the hardware, but the individual game price increase as well.
Add-on, but if you buy the game itself, this got a lot of attention. You've seen $80. That's a lot for a game. I know it's typically not what Nintendo charges. And then we look at the Donkey Kong game that's coming out about a month later. It's $70. Can you talk a little bit about how the gaming pricing strategy is $80 kind of the benchmark for a AAA game from Nintendo? What should we be expecting?
The camera's $50. Hell nah. What do you mean you don't want this piece of tech from the late 2010s? Well, how are you gonna talk to your friends on Nintendo Switch 2 Discord without the Nintendo Switch 2 camera, bud? All right, tough guy. What do you know about high-quality 480p cameras?
So we believe, based on the depth and breadth of the play and the repeatability of the play over time, the pricing that we announced is the right pricing. But again, other games like mentioned, Donkey Kong Bonanza, it's going to be at a $70 price point because that is what we feel is the right price point for that particular gaming experience.
I love that. Well, Donkey Kong Bonanza, that's a worse game. So we're charging less money for it. That game, it's nothing compared to Mario Kart World. That game actually really sucks. So we're giving you a great deal there. Mario Kart World, though, think of all the hours of gameplay you get. So many hours. So we had to increase the price. We did so much work, we needed to increase the price. And when the next Zelda game comes out, I'm going to be honest with you, we might go up to $120 on it. We put a lot of tender love and care into it. It's an incredible game, and we think that's a good price for it. It's so fucking stupid. Basically, they're saying, these are great games. You're going to get a lot out of the games, so we're charging you more for the games because we know you're going to buy it because you already like the properties. I had already read the headline. I knew that's what he said about it, more or less. I just think that's a really dog shit argument because it doesn't apply. Schedule 1. I've gotten so many hours out of Schedule 1, more so than most Nintendo games in recent memory, paid a fraction of the price for Schedule 1. Does that mean Tyler should start charging $80 for Schedule 1 to match Mario Kart World? Fuck no. He'd get eaten alive, even though it offers the same amount of fun and the same amount of hours. It's dumb. It's a stupid statement. Like, yes, they'll get away with it because they're Nintendo. I don't think this holds any water. The main reason is they know they can charge this price. People will buy it. There's not going to be any kind of boycott. Nintendo Switch 2 will still sell. All the games will still sell. So they can do it. So why not squeeze some more money out of the consumer? That's the core. That is at its core why they're doing it. I think they're pricing it based on whether or not it'll be continuously updated. But that's the thing. Every game is continuously updated in the modern day and age. I can't think of a game that just comes out and never gets touched again. Even games that flop still get some updates over their lifespan, even if it is a short lifespan. You can't base a game on that either. I still think that's a stupid reason too. Like fucking Babylon's Fall. That only ever opened to 12 players and me and Dankin got updates. Concord got updates. Every game that comes out gets updates. Do you think it would be a fair price if they announce every DLC and add-on will be free? If they did that, yes. That would make a lot more sense. They will never do that, But in your, like, fairy tale Candyland hypothetical, if they said we're increasing the base price of these games and you will get our feature updates later down the line, like our DLC packages, you will get that included, yeah, that makes sense. That then I'd be like, okay, I see what you're trying to get at. You're basically selling the game plus the full lifespan season pass. Okay. That would make sense to me. You'd basically be selling like the Game of the Year version. They're never doing that, but if they did, I wouldn't be upset. Oh, I see what you're saying, Archive. Like, Mario Kart is a multiplayer game, so it'll get more stuff. Donkey Kong is a single-player experience, hence why it's cheaper. Not saying it's right, just figuring out their logic. I see what you're saying. Okay. Maybe that's how they base their pricing, then.
You have to have a Nintendo account. You're going to look at how many hours I play before you determine if I'm worthy of buying a Switch 2. Are people going to be able to go out and buy it?
That is cute.
One?
Innovation there with the number of hours played was really to reward our most loyal players and to give them a chance to queue up first and have an opportunity to purchase the product. Tomorrow we're going to be meeting with our retail partners, and our retail partners will have their own pre-order programs. So our
And I promise you it won't be that.
The demand that's going to be out there for Nintendo Switch 2.
Yeah, they did announce this. I did know about it. In order to pre-order the Switch, at least through them, you have to verify that you're a Nintendo fan, fundamentally. Like, you have to verify that you engage with Nintendo products. You have a certain amount of hours. It's basically a fucking background check, like you're buying a gun. Like, it's like they do like a check to make sure that you are qualified for a pre-order. It's so good. I actually don't even hate that, because anything that takes a stab at scalpers, I'll at least give it a try. I'll at least say, cool, why not give it a whirl? So I don't dislike that. Obviously, the other retailers outside of Nintendo will not be doing that. No chance. There are still going to be scalpers. It's not going to beat scalpers, but anything that at least takes a shot at it, go for it.
So first of all, with Game Chat, when you choose Game Chat, you're only choosing from a list of your friends. So you're not
God,
going online to a wide open...
See, if this was my product, the last thing I would want people to see is this.
You're not going online...
That looks like right out of Skype from back in the day. Oof.
A wide open...
No strangers.
That's right. It is
Oh.
your friends, and it's your friend list, and those people that you've invited into your...
You see the quote where Doug pulled a Don Matrick? Who's Don Matrick? And what quote? Are you talking about the one where he said, if you can't afford the Switch 2, get the Switch 1, or that's why the Switch 1 is here? He was the Xbox guy during the Xbox One reveal. Oh, did they say that for the Xbox One? If you can't afford the Xbox One, get the 360? History was not kind to that console. That thing was a super flop. Up there with the Wii U, really. But yeah, here. If you can't afford the $449 Switch, don't expect much help from Nintendo. The company executive is suggesting budget-conscious gamers simply settle for the first-gen Switch. Doug Bowser said the company recognizes there are some people that may not be able to afford the Switch 2's price point. That's why we wanted to make the other Switch platforms available so people still have an opportunity to come into our gaming universe, be a part of these characters in these worlds, and see value, if you will, in whatever rung of the platform they come in. Yeah, so, can't afford it, stay broke, get a Switch, basically, is what it boils down to. I think they are still developing every game for Switch and Switch 2, so I don't think anything is Switch 2 exclusive. So I don't think you'll miss out on any games by not having the Switch 2. Never mind, I'm immediately proven wrong in the following paragraph. Wow. A growing crop of Switch 2 games such as Mario Kart World, Donkey Kong Bonanza, and Donkey Kong Bonanza won't be offered on the Switch 1. I'm wrong. That was quick. It was in the following paragraph. You didn't know that. No, I was under the impression this was going to be like when the PlayStation 3 launched and they still like co-developed games for PS3 and PS2. But even with the PS3, they did have like a couple of PS3 exclusives like Resistance, Fall of Man. Oh yeah, and here's the mention of Xbox One. Comparing it to Don Matrick, who tried to justify the Xbox One internet requirement, saying, "Fortunately, we have a product for people who aren't able to get some form of connectivity. It's called Xbox 360. Great quote, Don. Crushed it. Don Matrick got fired 1 month after the Xbox One reveal. How? Why? What did he do wrong? I'm sure he's probably the CEO of a Fortune 500 company now, because you can only fail upwards in this industry. Why do you hate Xbox? They've been doing so many good things recently. What? I don't even really hate them. They just have nothing on there. And Phil Spencer constantly reminds people of that. He's like, yeah, we lost the console war. Yeah, we still don't have games. But I've always said I think Game Pass is a great deal, and I really appreciate that Xbox games aren't actually exclusive because you can play all of them on PC. I don't even necessarily hate Xbox. I just don't see any reason why you would ever buy that. Unless you just already have one or your friends are on it. I'm sure you've all seen this clip by now. This video has over 600 million views on just this one post on Twitter for it. It's probably in the billions of views in total now, and it has spawned a ton of copycats and a ton of memes around it. It is unbelievable how huge this has gotten. This is 2025's Harlem Shake right now, with people dunking their head into water bowls because of that video, which I'll show you in a minute if you haven't seen it, but I need to let you all know you've been schmeckledorfed. Just like a game of ranked jerkmate in this household, you have been played. But before breaking the magician's code and telling you what I mean, I'll go ahead and show you the video, in case any of you haven't seen it. But I'd be surprised if you haven't at this point. This is up there with fucking Gangnam Style in terms of views right now. I have to interrupt real quick. I actually cannot fight the urge to clown on it, and that is the power of the Ashton Hall morning routine brand. And this is what I mean by you have all been played like a fiddle